Week 0. We have made it. We have made to the college football season. I'm joined here by my co-host, the one and only Will Walk-On Moose, whatever you know him as. We've made it to college football season.
Will. We've freaking made it.
We have made it to college football season. We've got a big show here.
It doesn't seem real, Jake.
Doesn't feel real at all. Like, we spend the last 8 months talking about how we can't wait for the season, and now we're here.
You know, and unlike Christmas, the reason that this is bigger than Christmas is over in 24 hours. College football, we've got the next 5 months just to lean into this thing, baby. Just to lean into this thing. So this is a 5-month Christmas period for me.
We got a packed show here. We're going to talk about some news. Quarterbacks are being announced left and right. We're going to drop our college football playoff predictions here, Heisman picks, and then as always, we're going to end the show making picks for this upcoming weekend. We've got spreads.
I'm scared. I'm scared of my playoff and my Heisman predictions. I'm very scared, to be honest with you.
Couple exciting things though. First, if you guys are not on Squad Blitz already, make sure to go join Squad Blitz. Click the referral for Walk-On Redshirts. They're doing weekly contests, and if you haven't already, you got plenty of time to still go join one of the leagues. Create a league with your friends. Let us know. Always down to join another league. Trying to make sure that I'm into as many college football fantasy leagues as I can. Squad Blitz, you are picking teams, not players. Makes it a lot easier because you don't got to worry about a guy like Quentin Joyner getting injured. You can still use Texas Tech. The running backs are still going to be solid. Let's talk about some quarterback news, though. In the last, it feels like 48 hours, we've had CJ Carr at Notre Dame, Steve Angeli at Syracuse, Dylan Longeran at Boston College, Joey Aguilar at Tennessee, Julian Sayin at Ohio State, and Bear Bachmeier at BYU, all being announced starting quarterbacks.
All-time name, Bear Bachmeier. That is a freaking name and a half.
Who's got a better name, him or his brother? Tiger
or Hank?
Can't forget about Boise State great Hank.
See, but you got to think about this. Bear and Tiger had to be named something cool to be awesome. Hank has to go out there and prove it every day. I mean, Hank is a cool name, but
Hank's done with football.
Cool right, and it's not Tiger and Bear, but he's basketball, right?
No, he played football. He was at Wake Forest for a second. He might have been at Louisiana Tech, but he was at Boise State. He beat Florida State back in 2020 or 2021, I want to say. Maybe 2019.
Who could forget?
Maybe 2019.
Hank's a strong name. Bear's a strong name, but obviously you know that Tiger is the best name out of all three of those.
Out of all of those guys who are now starting quarterback, which one to you is the most impactful or surprise or catches your eye?
I would say, so Steve Angeli is my favorite. I think he's going to be a household name by the end of the year for Syracuse. They go in and they add, who's the wide receiver that was at Texas and then went to Washington?
Jonte Cook.
Jonte Cook, a former 5-star guy who's a stud and a half. My wife is doing something next to the door. Never mind. Great podcasting right here, guys. I was about to give you a play-by-play about what my wife was doing by the glass door. No, Steve Angeli came in off the bench at Notre Dame, saved their playoff hopes against Georgia to help get that offense. Was it Penn State?
He came in against Penn State and led them down right before halftime. And without that drive, I mean, I think
the offense was
only resulted in a field goal, but still.
It did, but the offense could not move until he came out there. And I really liked, sometimes like a guy like Michael Penix, I watched him throw the ball and I loved his spiral. I watched Steve Angeli throw the ball and I'm like, man, that actually looks crisp. He throws the ball a hell of a lot better than Riley Leonard did. So having him go to Syracuse under Fran Brown, and I think he could do an amazing job. But Joey Aguilar is honestly the one I'm most shocked about. I mean, all these guys, maybe Bear Bachmeier, I didn't know who he was competing with since Dylan Retzlaff left or Jake Retzlaff left. But Joey Aguilar was the one I'm most surprised because I thought Merklinger was going to emerge late because he was the guy during the spring. He was the guy, amidst all of the Nico Iamaleava drama going on. He was the guy that emerged and started that spring game. So I thought he might have gotten the nod. So I was a little bit shocked to see Joey Aguilar, but not that shocked. What about you?
Yeah, so CJ Carr was the one that I've been waiting on. Kenny Minchie apparently was pushing pretty hard, but it felt like that the Notre Dame staff wanted CJ Carr to be the guy. And it was more waiting to say, yeah, okay, you finally have proved yourself. You're the guy. There's also a lot of psychology involved in all of this as well. There's fans that get upset at saying, why is it taking so long for our quarterback to be announced as a starter? The thing is, your head coach might know the starting quarterback. He might have known it 2 weeks ago. But there's a portion where they want the competitive edge to go. And then there's also a portion where, okay, hey, I have a target date of I want them to start running with the ones full time. And you don't want to, they know when they want to do that. They don't want to hand it to them in the third practice and say, yep, CJ Carr's our guy. Julian Sayin is our guy. Barrett Bachmeier is our guy. There's a portion where you want that competitive edge because you want to see how they do in that competition. But then you also have a period where that's why you've been seeing it now. We're a little over a week away from games. You want these guys to have a full week of camp before you go into game week then and be able to work with the ones.
There's also times like my junior year, it was between Deshaun Watson and Cole Stout. Hindsight, obviously, we know which one was better, but like they were competing in fall camp and no one knew what we were going to do until the Georgia week. We were going into the Georgia game, and then Dabo announced that it was going to be Cole Stout. And his reasoning was they were so even, he wanted to reward Cole Stout since he'd sat behind Taj and did everything he's supposed to do. He was the senior, he's the older guy. Sometimes coaches just do that. They want to reward the guy that, I mean, look at Quinn Ewers. I have to believe, yes, I thought Quinn Ewers was great. So I don't want to be another person that jumps in on this, hey, let's talk trash about Quinn Ewers because he was only a 7th round pick. I thought he was an above average quarterback. So I'm not going to sit here and dunk on him. I think Arch Manning was better and is better. And they just came into the perfect spot of where Steve Sarkisian could promise Quinn Ewers, hey, this is your job. Don't go anywhere. We got you. We got this stud coming in. And then they probably looked at Arch and said, hey, you're the young guy. You're going to sit behind him and you're going to learn. And they just happen to have a guy like Arch Manning who's willing to do that. And both of those things are uncommon in this world, with the coaches actually telling the truth and the young guy, the star young guy coming in to sit behind him.
Yeah, and also from a Texas perspective, it's really hard to bench your starting quarterback when you were one play away from going to the national championship.
Right. What had he done wrong to that point? And I would say
Texas couldn't stop a nosebleed against Washington. So, granted, Michael Penix was phenomenal. It's funny we're talking about a national championship game now 2 years ago. But obviously, semifinal game, actually. Yeah, semifinal, you're right. But with these, you talked about Joey Aguilar. That one's an interesting case to me. Joey Aguilar has a turnover problem. He has 24 interceptions over the last 2 seasons. And I have a little bit of a concern. Is he going to be the starter all year? Because if he's going against SEC defenses, and he was throwing 14 interceptions last year and 10 interceptions the year prior at App State, what are we going to expect when he plays Georgia? What are we going to expect when he plays Alabama? What are we going to expect when he's playing these top-notch SEC defenses? And what happens if he throws 3 interceptions? What happens if we get through September and he's already at 8 interceptions?
Right. I don't think he gets to that point. But because if he does, I think they pull him at that point. Because
I could see this leash being a little bit shorter. The funny part is there's a report out there that he's going to get paid $1.2 million in NIL money. I'm just not sure that Aguilar is worth that. I think we'll get into playoff predictions, but shockingly, I don't have Tennessee in my playoffs.
If you look at like completion percentage, him and Nico are similar. Yes, he had a turnover problem. You can equate that to a lot of different. I think the style that Joey Aguilar plays is he is a playmaker. He's not to call him Brett Favre by any means of the imagination, but when you think about Brett Favre was not afraid to make any throw, even if it resulted in a turnover. I think Joey Aguilar plays that way a lot of times. He can run, he will escape the pocket, and he will make the reckless throw that could be boom or bust. He is not afraid for the boom or bust play. In the SEC, that could really hurt you.
That can tank you pretty hard if you make too many bust plays.
Right, and you better have but Tennessee has the defense to be able to back them up a little bit, but there's only going to be so long until
That
Luke
is
Carter.
the saving grace, but how many
Yeah.
times can if he turns it over on his side of the 50, is his defense going to be okay with it before
Right. At some
they
point,
get
Luke
in his
Carter
ear?
and Jermod McCoy are going to pull him over and smack him upside the head and say, hey, we're tired of one of these games. Let's hold on that football just a little bit longer, please.
Yeah. Hey, I'd rather defend 80 yards than 40 yards half this time. So,
and Jake, I'm actually curious. I mean, I think you're about to segue into this, so sorry. I'm very, very intrigued by the UNLV quarterback battle.
okay,
Am I the
so
only
I
one?
wasn't going to talk about that one, but apparently you are big into these two. I don't know anything about Anthony Colandera, and I
He
know
was the
Alex Orji
quarterback.
couldn't
He was the quarterback for Virginia. You know Alex Orji.
Yeah, he can't throw the ball.
Yeah, but Anthony Colandera can. He can throw the football, but he can also turn the ball over. So I am very curious because you think of a guy like Dan Mullen coming in. This is what makes it more enticing to me. You have a guy like Dan Mullen coming in. You have, let's see, 17 transfers coming in projected to start. So that means only 5 returners are going to be starting. 17, that's offense and defense. The other 17 will be transfers, and one of those will be a quarterback. Alex Orji, who cannot throw the football to save his life, but is an excellent runner, and Colandera, who can also run, but has a better arm than Alex Orji, but is prone to turn the ball over. So it's like, as Dan Mullen, I have to think that he's going to lean towards Anthony Colandera because he has the arm talent, and Dan Mullen is a quarterback guru. I mean, you got to think Dan Mullen coached a guy like Dak Prescott and had them number 1 in the country in the very first college playoff poll. But if Alex Orji gets the nod, you have to think that a Dan Mullen-led team is going to be a run-first team. And that for some reason, that just entices me. I want to see what they do over there in Vegas.
Dan Mullen, I believe, was the offensive coordinator in 2006 for Florida.
Yes,
when they
Tim
had
Tebow.
Chris Leak and Tim Tebow.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying this is Chris Leak and Tim Tebow because my goodness, these two are not Chris Leak and
This
Tim
is
Tebow.
This is a perfect comparison, though. This is perfect.
But Tim Tebow, as a true freshman, threw very few passes. He was much more of a battering ram. He did throw a little bit, but he was much more of a battering ram and a special use quarterback. And Chris Leak was the main guy. I could see a situation where you have Alex Orji. I mean, Michigan's done the last 2 years. They've used Alex Orji. Even when J.J. McCarthy was there, Alex Orji still came in as a change of pace quarterback, and he always ran the ball. Last year, he actually attempted to throw footballs, and it was ugly, to put it nicely.
Jake, you have a beautiful mind. You have a beautiful mind. For you to be able to draw that back and make that connection, that's absolutely perfect. I mean, this is Walmart, Chris Leak, and Tim Tebow.
That's disrespectful to Walmart.
Timu.
There we go.
Timu Tebow.
With the tariffs. All right,
let's
talk about a couple of Timu burnt down. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to cost $60 to replace all the stuff inside of it.
Don't know if I got that. A couple other quarterback battles are still out there. Colorado, you put Julian Sain. It's not Julian Sain. Julian Lewis. Lewis
You're right.
Caden Salter.
We were talking about Julian Sain while I was typing this up, so I'm sorry. Hey, it's week 0. It's Monday. This is Monday.
Julian Lewis and Caden Salter. Those are neck and neck, but I have to think that Coach Brian Dion is going to go with Salter at least out the start. Go with the veteran guy. You have a tough game. They play Georgia Tech the first week, isn't it?
Yes, they do.
Or they play North Carolina plays TCU. Georgia Tech plays Colorado. That's not an easy game. And putting a true freshman out there is not going to be the best situation. I think you at least start with Salter. Salter's going to be the first guy to take a snap. Would not shock me if Lewis plays.
Jake, you are this is my Monday, even though it's week 0. It's my Monday for college football season. You are on your A game. You're at least at Wednesday. So you're on it.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Trying to.
You might be the quarterback battle guru.
I might be. I've been reading a lot lately. I've had some time. Been reading a lot. Wife was gone all last week. We were diving into stuff.
I love it.
I think Lewis is going to play. They took him to media day. You don't take him to media day to have him sit the bench all year. But Salter has experience. putting out a true freshman quarterback in the very first game in this kind of atmosphere is going to be tough. We're going to talk about other true freshmen here in a second, but Lewis is going to play. He is the future of Colorado.
Question for you. Since he's probably one of the first true freshmen to ever go to Media Day for Colorado, should they...
Might be one of the first true freshmen to go to Media Day, period.
Should they retire his jersey?
Ooh, yeah, no, it's got to be done already. He can't even wear it. He can't even wear his own jersey.
He can't wear his own jersey. Yeah, they should go and retire it.
Whatever it is, just go ahead and retire it. Side note, though, the fact that Shedeur Sanders got his number retired before Cam Newton is absurd.
It is
I know
hilarious.
Different schools, different programs, but the fact that Cam Newton's only getting his retired 15 years later and Shedeur had it before he was even drafted in the 19th round.
And Cam Newton arguably had the greatest college football season of all time.
Cam Newton is arguably the best college football quarterback of all time.
Right, off of one season. I mean, go back and watch the Iron Bowl from 2010. Go watch the Iron Bowl from freaking 2010. That game is the comeback is one of the best games I've ever watched in my life. He came back against Clemson down 17, won it overtime. Came back against South Carolina, I think down 10, won. I think also in overtime. Came back against freaking Alabama down, what was it, 24? Was it 21 or 24 points?
I thought it was 24-7. Might be 17. I forget.
It was massive. It was massive, especially against that Alabama team. And then the Oregon game was just elite. I mean, that dude won everything all by himself and took them 15 years to retire his jersey. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Two more quarterback battles here. Bryce Underwood is going against Jake Garcia / Mikey Keene. This has got to be for show.
Jake Garcia, Miami, Missouri, Eastern Carolina's finest.
Yeah, also his 7 high schools that he went to as well. It's got to be for show, right? Like this isn't a legitimate quarterback battle.
I don't think so. I don't think so because I mean,
Jake Garcia showed up like 4 weeks ago.
Right. So I think that's what plays into this. This
Davis Warren's hurt. I don't even think he's going to play this year. And the Mikey Keene has been hurt throughout camp. I just read that he is back practicing on one of the Detroit websites. I can't imagine that their 5-star all-world quarterback isn't starting the first game of the year, especially if they are planning to start him. I mean, I'm not saying Michigan's going to be bad. I'm not saying Michigan's going to be great, but you might as well get the bumps out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, your head coach is going to be suspended after the first 2 games, three games after that.
I didn't even want to dive into that as news. I'm just glossing over that.
Michigan is hiding this competition as well as they hid sign stealing with Connor Stallions. So like everyone knows it's happening. Everyone knows that Bryce Underwood is going to be the starting quarterback. Show me the manifesto. Show me the manifesto.
Show me the quarterback manifesto.
Yes, where it goes from Jim Harbaugh and everything happening all the way up to Bryce Underwood getting this first start, competing against a quarterback who's transferred to 69 different schools. Connor Science might be the greatest mind of all time.
If he predicted all that, he can predict the rest of my future.
I would if he published that manifesto, like no kidding, I would read that.
Oh, I would cover to cover.
I feel like it would be one of the most entertaining things.
New York Times bestseller, guaranteed.
Would I be laughing at him? Most likely.
Every college football fan would be picking up a copy of that.
Yeah, he would be genius to do that. He would be genius.
He's got to stay relevant somehow. This investigation's over. How is he going to stay relevant now?
Well, in 10 years, he can coach again.
In 14, Harbaugh can. Because he had a 4-year show cause from the last thing. Now he's had 10 more. Hey,
yeah.
The current 4-year-olds. Hey, how old's your son, by the way?
He's 4.
Oh, so by the time he goes to college, Jim Harbaugh could coach Clemson.
And so could Connor Stallions. I would love to walk it and have Connor Stallions walk into my living room and try to recruit. That would be hilarious. I would have my manifesto sitting on the coffee table.
Oh my God, that'd be great. Yeah, Bryce Underwood though, there's no way he's not going to be the starter. The other interesting one, North Carolina, Gio Lopez versus Max Johnson. Max Johnson gets hurt in the first game of the year last year. Gio Lopez comes over from South Alabama. My gut says it's going to be Lopez, but I have not read any of the intel.
I would guess Gio Lopez as well. I feel like they went and spent a lot of money on him. Max Johnson's coming off of a brutal leg injury. I can't see. And Gio Lopez is Belichick's guy. He's the guy he went and picked out. Max Johnson was just there. So I would have to believe it's Gio Lopez. Oh my gosh, Jake.
Side note, I saw there is a stat that I believe it's 5 former Texas A&M quarterbacks are going to start at different schools this year.
Yeah. Connor Wegman, Haynes King, potentially Max Johnson,
Zach Calzada,
and Marcel Reed, the guy who's actually starting for the school.
Yeah, I thought there was still one more, but I don't remember.
There might be.
I feel like it was at some random school in the middle of nowhere. But anyways.
But before you go forward, by no means, disclaimer. We need to have a permanent disclaimer for me, by the way. Disclaimer, by no means am I wishing any injury on anybody. Would it not be crazy if Gio Lopez goes out there and gets his leg hurt and Max Johnson comes in as the unsung hero and becomes essentially Tom Brady for Bill Belichick, but at UNC?
Yeah, but he can only play for one season.
Jake, don't ruin this for me.
Max Johnson can only play for a season. And then
in today's football, all he's got to do is keep on suing, baby. He'll keep playing.
Keep suing. Claim you played at JUCO somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of injuries, Quentin Joyner and Jam Miller both suffered camp injuries. Quentin Joyner's out for the year. Texas Tech running back comes over from USC. Jam Miller, who was the starting running back at Alabama last year, sounded like it was a collarbone. I saw did some PR stuff. Sounded like a dislocated collarbone. Josh Pate said he expects him back by Georgia, but Jam Miller, honestly, I think was more optimistic than that. I don't think that's that big of a deal for Alabama. I think they've recruited the running back position well enough for the last couple of years that Richard Young, I think, is going to step in. He's a former top 100 recruit, was injured a little bit last year. I also don't think they're going to need the running back position too much the first couple of weeks. I think they're going to beat up on Florida State pretty easily, where Jam Miller won't be the difference in not being there.
Right. I agree with that. And honestly, this is good. Not obviously for Jam Miller. This is good for the depth of the Alabama running back room. You get to see what you have in Richard Young. You get to see what you have in some of these other guys. And, you get to find out what Ty Simpson's made of. Let's find out fast, so you don't have to run the ball as much. It sucks for Jam Miller because I thought he was going to have a great year.
He still might, because dislocated collarbone, he should be back by the end of September is what they were saying.
Yeah, that's that, which is also insane, but I wouldn't doubt it. Modern medicine, maybe.
Let's talk about Auburn. Before we get into our college football playoff predictions, Auburn has gone and claimed additional national championships. They are claiming 1910, 1914, 1958, 2004.
If Auburn won the 1914 national championship, it's because everyone else was doing their American duty of fighting in World War I. So that means Auburn is not American. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. They've admitted that they're not American because they had a football
Auburn
team.
tied Georgia that year 0-0. Actually, that year Auburn allowed 0 points. That's actually an absurd stat.
Because nobody had all the players were in freaking in France.
Also, they beat the 4th District Agricultural School, which I don't even know what
Powerhouse.
That is.
Powerhouse. It's in the 4th District, Drake. Read the name.
Fun fact, they also beat Clemson.
No, they didn't. That's because our guys were true American soldiers fighting for freedom.
They were being a real American patriots.
That's right. So French Auburn could have their freedom again. Auburn's French. They got all their freedom taken away.
The base defense was a 7-2-2. They played with 7 down linemen.
I love it. Hey, you ain't running the ball on them. You are not running the ball on them.
I think we need to bring back the 7-2-2. I think that's the only reasonable thing. We need 7 down linemen every time.
What will we name it? I feel like Michigan's going to be the next team to do that. They essentially did the 7-2-2 version of offense last year.
They really did. The one thing about Auburn, so now they have claimed 1910, 1913, 1914, 57, 58, 83, 93, which we're going to come back to, 04, which I know you have thoughts on, in 2010. 93, they went undefeated. They were ineligible for the postseason. Shouldn't that negate any opportunity to win a national championship?
But what were they ineligible for?
They were banned from TV and postseason play and suffered scholarship reductions because they weren't even allowed to play for the SEC championship. They didn't play anyone, Paul.
I'm sorry, the government didn't want them to win. I'm sorry, I'm starting to pull for Auburn now. So that they're being wrongfully criticized and unjustly served some crimes that they didn't commit.
I have no idea what they did, but I just know they were ineligible, and I think it's hilarious that they're claiming a national championship. 2004 is also hilarious because I'm pretty sure USC would have won that game pretty easily.
I'm going to read to you the depth chart for USC back then. You let me know when you're
disgusting.
Ready.
It's absolutely filthy.
You tell me if they're going to. Matt Leinart, you know who the backup quarterback was? Matt Castle, also started in the NFL. Reggie Bush, Lindale White. Okay, you know any of these guys yet? Steve Smith, not the Steve Smith, but the other Steve Smith. Dwayne Jarrett, one of the best college receivers of all time, which is crazy to me. Fred Davis, Dominique Byrd, all these guys are NFL guys. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 NFL players on that roster. That is 1/4 of the roster, Jake, played in the NFL. They were not US.
I'll bet you it's actually even more than that. I'll bet you that's just what you see. I'll bet you there were even more guys that played.
Wouldn't doubt it. But this team was deep.
And this Auburn team was good. You had Jason Campbell, you had Ronnie Brown, you had Cadillac Williams. Like you had
no. Yes, the two running backs in Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown. But Jason Campbell, don't put that. No.
Jason Campbell, you just talked about NFL guys. Jason Campbell played in the NFL.
He did play.
Jason Campbell spent way more time in the NFL than I think people remember.
You know what? You're right.
10 years in the NFL.
He spent more time than Matt Leinart. So let me stop. Leinart, he couldn't sniff the field in the NFL. Matt Castle spent more time in the NFL than Matt Leinart did.
That's actually
crazy.
That's actually an insane stat. That might be the most insane thing.
That's a tweet right there. Go ahead and tweet that one, Jake. Go and tweet that one out.
There were a couple other guys. I mean, you had Carlos Rogers. Carlos Rogers, was a pretty good cornerback. You had King Dunlap, who was a pretty good offensive lineman. Jay Ratliff. Like I'm looking at their roster from
the kicker, Jake Ratliff.
No, Jay, defensive tackle. Jay Ratliff spent 8 years in Dallas and two-time first team All-Pro. Cannot get that out.
It's Monday.
Quentin, that's Quentin Groves. I thought that said Quentin Grimes. Wrong guy. Who is Tim Duckworth? Apparently an undrafted guy. Anyways, there were guys on this team, but USC had way more talent. Just honestly had way more talent. You saw what they did to Oklahoma. They absolutely manhandled Oklahoma.
Yeah, no one's beaten a Reggie Bush led team.
No.
1, 2, 3,
no.
4, 5,
No.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Auburn had 12 guys. 12 guys go to the NFL. No more than that.
Would you like to transition and talk about how you hate the Football Power Index for ESPN?
So first off, shout out to College Football Kings for identifying this. That was insane that ESPN thought they're going to pull this. You don't get anything by the internet, ESPN. You will not trick them. First off, train your employees to know the difference between Barry Sanders and Shedeur Sanders when you're talking to people about college football. Lord have mercy. And then, is the FPI for ESPN rigged? Jake?
I just don't even pay attention to it. It's terrible.
It might be the worst metric in college football. So back in June, ESPN released their FPI rankings. Clemson was 11th, Miami was 9th, South Carolina was 11th, South Carolina was 15th, Florida was 18th. Okay. Jake, have you heard any significant news, injuries, whatever from any of these programs since June?
No.
Besides our 4-string tight end who played basketball getting a DUI?
Yeah, the guy who wasn't going to play anyways. No, I don't actually understand anything with the FPI.
With nothing changing, August comes around and they update the statistical ranking system. So it's not, there's supposed to be no bias. Statistical ranking system changed. Miami from 9 to 17. They dropped 8 spots. Clemson from 11 to 16 dropped 5 spots. Most people's favorite to win the national championship is ranked 16th in FPI, and they dropped 5 spots from 11. South Carolina went up from 15 to 11, so they went up 4 spots, and Florida moved up from 18 to 13. I'm not trying to throw shade at South Carolina or Florida, but what did they do that would change a ranking system that drastically? And why would there be the highest ranked ACC team is 16th? It doesn't make any sense to me. I just wanted to put that out there because, that's amazing sleuth work from College Football Kings. Like, how the heck he noticed that is beyond me. So shout out. But it's also this just shows you how skewed and biased that ESPN is when they come out with all these ranking systems that they have. Guys.
I can't stand, you've got all these different power indexes, the S&P plus, you've got, the FPI, everyone's got their own power index, and
watch the games. Turn on the TV and watch the games.
You can't metric college football like you can college basketball because there's a larger sample size in college basketball. Teams are playing 30 games. You're playing 12 in college football.
Yeah, and I'll also say,
you also have elements. You've got indoor, outdoor, wind, weather. You've got way more variables than basketball is in a controlled environment. So when they do the net or the RPI, those are in controlled environments. If it is raining all day long in a game and a quarterback only completes 47% of his passes, that might be a good day because of how bad the weather is.
Right. The rain affecting a basketball shot. Another thing, too, I'll say is in basketball, and maybe this is my ignorance in basketball, but you can have a team that's not very talented beat a team that's very talented. We see it in basketball March Madness all the time. And their FPIs could be drastically different or whatever they RPI. In football, when you're talking the upper echelon, they're not losing to the little guys. They're not. I mean, you look at Notre Dame last year losing in Northern Illinois, and that was shocking to people. And I
had a conversation, and I want to talk about this real quick because the Big Ten coming out with their 28 team idea is absurd. And there were a couple people that said, well, Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame last year. I said, okay, let find me some more examples of that happening in the playoff era. One of them, they said in 2021, Cincinnati beat Notre Dame. Well, Cincinnati made the playoff that year.
Yeah.
That's not really the same. That is not comparing apples to apples here. Cincinnati would have made the playoff anyways in a 12-team playoff. They're making it in a 14 playoff for sure. Right. That does not signal we need to let the MAC champion in. I think there was one or two other ones that justified, and one of them was Houston when Houston was an AAC team. Well, Houston's now a Big 12 team. The talent gap between the group of 5 and the Power 4 has continued to get wider as more teams have jumped into the Power 4. Yeah. We're not going to see Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame on a year-by-year basis. If they played that game 100 times, I'll bet you Notre Dame wins 95 of those. Now, granted, they won 5 of them, and you can justify saying, oh, well, the 5 times. In this research, there were legitimately 3 existences, and I'm going to try to find it here real quick. There were literally 3 existences from the last 12 years where a group of 5 team beat a legitimate playoff team. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, I mean, you're spot on. And with group of 5 teams seemingly being a talent pool, a minor league, for lack of a better term, for the Power 4 teams, yes, the gap has gotten a lot wider. I actually have a hot take, Jake.
Go for it.
I say actually as if this is crazy. I prefer the 12-team playoff over the BCS model.
The 12 team is fun. I will say I enjoy the 12 team because you get more good on good. You get good teams playing good teams.
The thing I hate about the BCS, that, and you get to prove it on a football field. With the BCS model, you have a computer picking two people, and we've seen that it would have been aligned normally, but only two teams playing to be the national champion, to me, is not enough. I think 12 is perfect. They're about to ruin it and go even further. I think 12 is absolutely perfect because I think we're going to have some years where that G5 team, where that Cincinnati that comes in at 12, potentially, which Cincinnati would have been ranked higher that year, comes in and probably upsets somebody and makes it bad. You could have a season where a team starts off bad, gets hot at the right time, and comes in and wins the whole thing. We've had 1 year of the 12-team playoff, and everybody's like, it's chalk, it's chalk, it's chalk, it's chalk. It was not chalk. The number one overall seed got boat raced at the Rose Bowl. Let's go and talk about that. The team that was ranked higher than Ohio State got boat raced in Ohio State. Excuse me, one seed lower, but was the favorite to win that game. Got boat raced in Ohio State. So
I think Ohio State was favored, but it wasn't by much. I thought it was by 7. I think Ohio State was favored by 7.5 because every favorite won in the first round.
You're right. Sorry. So that ruins
Still,
that. But
it was
my point.
Beat down.
Right. So let's not go ahead and make all of our assumptions on the 12-team playoff based off of 1 year. It's happened 1 year. But the BCS model, how many times do we have it where like that team shouldn't have even been there? We should have had team 3, team X, team Y, team Z should have been there instead. What if this team would have played this team? What if they had to play this team, this team, this team? You don't get any of that when you have the BCS. I never liked the BCS model because it was only 1 versus 2. And every now and then, 2 wasn't even the number 2 team in the country. Sometimes 2 was the number 4 team in the country because they had them ranked higher for some whatever reason.
The year we talked about with USC and Oklahoma, Oklahoma loses in the Big 12 championship. Kansas State, and they stayed in the top 2. I found it since 2012. Memphis beat Ole Miss in 2015. Ole Miss finished season 12. Ole Miss may not have made the playoff because of the group of 5 team jumping them. So Houston beat Oklahoma in 2026. Oklahoma finished number 7.
2016.
2016. Houston also went to a New Year's Six bowl game. They might have been representing the group of 5. Probably would have been. 2016 also, Central Michigan beats Oklahoma State. If anybody remembers this is the wild Hail Mary by Central Michigan. They beat them 30-27. Oklahoma State finishes 11. 2020, Louisiana beats Iowa State 31-14. Iowa State finishes 9. And then 2021, Cincinnati defeats Notre Dame. Cincinnati literally goes to the playoff. So since if you want to include Northern Illinois in there, since 2012, if you want to include all those are 6 instances.
Yeah, I just have a hard time saying keep the G5 out. I just love having that G5 spot.
I am fine with it, but I do not think that every group of 5 conference deserves an automatic bid.
So, all right, quote card. Jake is fine with the G spot, but doesn't think that people deserve a G spot.
So last year, Marshall won Conference USA, Ohio won the MAC, Jackson State won the Sun Belt, and Army won the American. Marshall was 0-2 against playoff teams or against Power 4 teams. They lost 31-14 to Virginia Tech and lost 49-14 to Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio lost 41-6 to Kentucky. Yeah. Kentucky was terrible.
Was bad, abysmal.
And they lost 41-6 to Kentucky. They lost 38-22 to Syracuse. Jacksonville State lost 49-14 to Louisville, and Army lost 49-14 to Notre Dame. When you look at these, I understand there's a chance that maybe, hey, you're going to upset occasionally, but most of these games are 3 or 4 score games.
Yeah, and I think maybe Boise State might skew us too, because Boise State had every opportunity to beat Penn State and just couldn't get out of their own way. We might not get another situation where a Boise State, because Boise State was one of the best G5 teams we've seen in a long time because of Ashton Jeanty. I think that might also skew how we view the G5 going forward. and think, hey, they have to be in there because of what Boise State did. Again, I like the G spot being in there, but let's not get it twisted. Like you're saying, it's only happened 5 times in 10 years.
And so let's talk about this. And spoiler, neither of us have Tulane in here, but let's say, the college football is different now. If Darian Mensah and Mekhi Hughes are at Tulane, we're looking at Tulane as a very different program right now.
And I think, Tulane's beaten P4 schools if that's the case.
Yeah. Mekhi Hughes is one of the better running backs. Darian Mensah is one of the better quarterbacks. You put them on Tulane, we're all calling Tulane a playoff team right now.
Yeah, that'd be our lock. It'd be easy. Everybody would have them as the G5 team, and they wouldn't be ranked 12th. They'd be ranked higher than that.
Instead, we got Jake Retzloff coming in after being on campus for 60 seconds and possibly taking over, and was efficient but not fantastic at BYU. Let's get into our playoffs. Let's start going through our playoffs. We've been 40 minutes in. Let's start talking about who we got in our playoffs. We still got week 0 to go over. How do you want to do this? You want to go through first round? You want to go 1 to 12, and then we'll talk about who we've got winning?
I'll tell you my seeds. And remember, people, this year the seeds have changed. So last year it was the top 4 conference winners were the top 4 teams. This year it doesn't matter. You're in if you win the conference, but you're not ranked in the top 4 automatically. So you're ranked where you would have been anyway. So I've got Penn State 1, Clemson 2, Texas 3, Baylor 4, Arizona
you still have
State
4 different conference champions at the top.
Yeah. Arizona State 5, Oklahoma 6, Alabama 7, Texas Tech 8, Ohio State 9, Georgia Tech 10, Illinois 11, and Navy 12. And I will tell you, it was really, really difficult for me not to include Louisville, for me not to include Iowa, and what's the other team? And for me not to include Georgia. I mean, if I did this again, Georgia would be on there.
What about Virginia?
Over Virginia. Yeah, that's right. So in this scenario, I have Georgia Tech at 10. So if you look at my predictions way back, I have Clemson beating Louisville in the ACC championship. So in this fake scenario, Clemson beats Louisville to get into the college football playoff. Louisville and Georgia Tech have the same record. Georgia Tech's coming off of a win against Georgia, which bounces Georgia out of the college football playoff and catapults Georgia Tech in. So this is my hypothetical scenario that I'm building. So I have did I say Navy 12 already?
Yeah, you said Navy.
I got Navy in the G spot. Shout out Jay Guillermo, offensive line coach there.
So I've got Clemson at 1, Penn State at 2, Texas at 3, Ohio State at 4, Georgia at 5, Alabama at 6, Notre Dame at 7, Arizona State at 8, Oregon at 9, LSU at 10, Kansas State at 11, and Boise State at 12.
I like that. I like Kansas State making it in there. Big Avery Johnson guy over here.
I think Kansas State they're going to get there soon enough. I have 2 Big 12 teams in here too. I have Arizona State and Kansas State.
I have 3.
I am a little surprised you do have 3. That is actually
Texas Tech and Baylor.
That's actually insane that you have 3.
What am I doing?
You have 3 in there. That's an insane take. That might be our quote or spoiler hot take that we're talking about.
Like I said, if I did this again, Georgia would be in there. But now that I have this and that we've just noticed that I have 3 Big 12 teams, I'm riding this, baby. There's going to be 3 Big 12 teams in the college football playoff. That's my hot take of the year.
All right, so let's go round 1 here. So round 1, you have Arizona State and Navy. Who's winning that game?
Arizona State. I got the Sun Devils beating Navy, Oklahoma beating Illinois, Alabama beating Georgia Tech, and Texas and Ohio State beating Texas Tech.
Your bracket is insane. It might be the craziest one I've seen so far, but I'm all in on that. I have Georgia over Boise State. I've got Alabama over Kansas State. I've got LSU upsetting Notre Dame on the road, and I've got Oregon over Arizona State.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not a big fan of my bracket, but we'll jump into round 2. I got Penn State beating Arizona State, Clemson beating Oklahoma. That'd be awesome. Can you imagine the storylines? Brent Venables, Dabo meeting.
My first one's Brian Kelly going home.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, not to Cincinnati. Not to Boston College. Texas beating Alabama. Baylor beating Ohio State beating Baylor. Excuse me.
So I have Clemson over Oregon,
Hell yeah.
Georgia over Ohio State, Penn State over LSU, and then Texas over Alabama. So we both actually have Texas and Alabama. Just I have them in a 3-6 game. You have them in a 3-7 game. Which,
how does that happen?
Because because the 3 play you have it wrong here.
No, 8 plays.
No, I have it wrong.
Yeah.
No, okay. So I should have. Yeah, my bad. I have this wrong. Penn State would play Alabama, which they would beat, which I still have them beating. And then Texas would play
Who's Texas your 3 seed?
Yes. So they
Texas
would play the 7.
Playing LSU. They'd be playing LSU because you're 10 seed.
There we go. Yes.
We're back. We're back, baby.
We're back. Yes, that's correct now. All right. So that means I have in my semifinals, I have Clemson playing Georgia and Texas playing Penn State. So your third round, so your semifinals then would be Penn State versus Ohio State and Clemson versus Texas.
Which would be a beautiful semifinal. James Franklin, Ryan Day has to get the monkey off his back against Ohio State.
Theory, that's that might be the third time they play this year because if you have Ohio State and Penn State and Illinois as your 3 Big Ten teams, and Ohio State is the ranked highest, in theory, that means they played in the regular season. They probably played, and Penn State probably beat them in the Big Ten championship game if they didn't beat them both times.
James Franklin would probably have a heart attack if he had to play Ohio State 3 times.
If he lost all 3, I think Penn State fans would be furious.
That would be hilarious.
That would actually be kind of funny. All right, so Penn State or Ohio State there?
I got Penn State winning it. So it's
and then Clemson
in the national championship. Clemson winning it all.
So I have Clemson over Georgia and then Texas over Penn State, and I have Texas beating Clemson in the national championship game.
That you're a scumbag for that.
You guys made it. Just be happy that you're there.
But it's against Texas. It's against Texas. I can't. That we need redemption against them.
I'm pretty sure the game's also in Houston this year too, so it doesn't help.
Home game for Clemson.
Basically a home game. I am surprised that you do not have Notre Dame in your top 12.
Me too. I told you, Jake, if I did this again, well, yeah, I'm surprised. Nebraska could have made it in there. They have a really easy schedule the more I look at it. But I think they were going 9-3.
We'll learn a lot about Notre Dame.
You know why Notre Dame didn't do it? Because I went and looked at my predictive models, and I didn't do one for Notre Dame because they're not in a conference. So
just out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. They weren't on my list. I'll be honest with you. So egg on my face. This is Monday for us too. You know what?
This is absolutely wild top 12.
This is karma. This is
3 Big 12 teams. Georgia Tech.
2
we got a military
teams.
Academy in here. We're just going all out here.
This graphic is going to hit like crack. This is there's nobody's going to be pissed off. My bracket, no one's going to be pissed off in my bracket. Not a single person.
They're going to look at it and say, "What drug did you do this morning?"
Three Big 10 teams, 3 Big 12 teams, 2 SEC teams, right?
The fact that you only have 2 SEC, no, you have 3. You have Texas, Oklahoma, and Alabama.
So that's not too crazy.
Yeah, 2 ACC teams. And
Jake, I'm not going to do what you do and just add 94 Big 10 teams. This is not what I'm doing.
I think I only have 2 Big 10 teams.
SEC Jake
I have 3.
over here.
I have Oregon. I forgot.
I forgot. SEC Jake.
SEC Jake.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about, before we get into this weekend, let's talk about Heisman for the year.
Oh, this is tough.
So
I'll tell you who go ahead. Yeah.
I have already put my take online. South Carolina fans are not a fan of it. I said Cade Klubnik is going to win the Heisman this year.
My dog.
I said the reasoning. I mean, I forget which one of your receivers, Antonio Williams or Bryant Wesco or TJ. I forget which one said, but they said their goal is for him to win the Heisman.
That was, I think, Antonio Williams.
So if your receivers are out there saying we're going to go help you win that Heisman, I don't know. I feel pretty confident, especially when they're pretty darn good receivers.
Yeah.
And he's going to have ample opportunities to do it because he's playing LSU, playing South Carolina, and he gets to play SMU. Do you guys play Miami this year?
Play Georgia Tech, though.
You play Georgia Tech. So there's four games that are going to have a lot of eyeballs on them.
Louisville
5.
could. Duke.
Louisville might be a 10. Louisville might be a 10-win team. Duke will probably be at least an 8-win team. Like, there's going to be enough big games that they're going to have ample opportunities to put up big numbers.
Now, go ahead. Sorry,
I'm done.
Okay,
Go tell.
okay.
Say who you got. Even though you wrote down Jeremiah Love, but didn't even consider them for the playoff. Jeremiah Love's only a contender. He didn't say he was going to win, but you have him as a contender here. But don't worry, Notre Dame's not making the playoff.
I screwed up. So I will say this, not to piss off Penn State fans, but to piss off Penn State fans. I don't think Drew Aller has a shot to win the Heisman this year, and let me tell you why.
I am going to agree with this take 100%.
That team's offense, regardless of the wide receiver weapons they've got around there, regardless of Drew Aller's arm talent, regardless of their record, is going to be led by Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. And statistically,
I think that's why Nick Singleton can't win the Heisman either, because he's going to be splitting too many carries with Katron Allen.
Right, and that's why I have him 5th on there. It's neither one of them can win it, and I don't think Drew Aller can win it. But it's not a bad thing. When you have that much talent, that's not a bad thing. You're looking for team accolades. You're not looking for individual accolades. Cade Klubnik's going to be hard to pick. Hard not to pick. I think he's chalky right now. I would love to put him in there. I just feel like if Arch Manning comes out there and does half of what people think he can do, the amount of publicity he'll get being at Texas will be, I think he'll get voted in, because that's all that people will talk about is Arch Manning. That's all people have talked about. So I think the publicity of Arch Manning gives him the nod. He might not even be as statistically good as everybody else, but because of the publicity, he will be the dude. I have Cade at 2nd. I have Lenora Sellers at 3rd. And the reason I have Lenora Sellers, if South Carolina is going to be any good, it's going to be because of him. He's going to have to win them games by himself sometimes offensively, because I just don't trust that offense. And this could be a clip that's played and I look like an idiot, but I didn't have Notre Dame in my top 12. So I'm okay with looking like an idiot sometimes. So I'm going to say Arch Manning will win the Heisman, but nothing. I would love nothing more than Cade Klubnik winning it, and I would love that, because one of the things that pissed me off the most about football fans, specifically Clemson football fans, is how much they've hated Cade Klubnik his entire career, and then all of a sudden now they want to love him. I'm like, you didn't give him any time to grow, no grace, no nothing, and now you think he hung the moon, and you're going to act like all those things you said the last 2 years don't exist anymore. Nah, I kept receipts right here in this ironclad chamber that it's going to stay in there. But I need Cade Klubnik to win that just to prove everybody else wrong. Anyway, Jake, Arch Manning is my Heisman pick. Blech.
Yeah, that we'll see. We'll see. All right, time for our spiciest take of the week, brought to you by Gridiron Spice Company, where football meets flavor. Bold opinions deserve bold seasonings. Tackle your taste buds with blends like Varsity, Triple Option, and Hot Route. Use code WALK-ON at gridironspiceco.com for 10% off. Each week this year, we're going to be making our spiciest take of the weekend. For this one, though, we only have like 4 games this weekend, so I figure we'll do our spicy. Yeah, I know 5, but we're not picking one of them because it's against a group of 5 team. Idaho State's playing.
Sorry. Yeah, they have the 299th ranked defense against the point with points allowed.
So I figure for our spiciest take, we'll pick one for the season. So my spiciest take for this season is, don't be surprised when USC finishes in the top 15 this year. I think USC is going to be flirting with that playoff. I think that they're going to do enough to win some big games. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, like we already heard, but I think they're going to be in the top 15 at the end of the season.
I like that. I've got, so normally I don't like to bash teams, so I'm not going to do one of the ones I want to do. My hottest take of the summer has been Virginia going 9-3, but with the amount of injuries they're having in their camp, it's just not looking good for Ole Moose. So my hot take: Kansas wins 9 games this year. Kansas wins at least 9 games. In fact, I predicted them to win 10. I think 9, the 8 to 9 range is very, very likely. So I'm gonna go. You know what? Let me be bold. Let me go hot route. Spicy take, and let's go. Kansas wins 10 games. 10 games. Shout out Lance Leipold. Shout out Jalen Daniels. The running back group there with
if Kansas wins 10 games, they might be your 4th Big 12 team in the playoff.
Am I Big 12 Moose? SEC Jake and Big 12 Moose?
You're turning into Big 12 Moose right now.
Everybody thinks we're biased, but we don't even pull for our own conferences. Jake loves the SEC. But anyway, Kansas is going to be a run dominant team, and I think that's going to win them a lot of games. And because what travels in college football are 2 things: running the football and defense. And I think Kansas has a good enough defense, and I think the running game is going to be electric. Plus, they have the tight end. I'm forgetting his name. He transferred over from Iowa State, and I think he will be perfect for that offense. I think the offense is going to be a pro-style, run the football down your throat, play action, hit the tight end. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful offense over in Lawrence, Kansas. Can't wait to watch them this weekend against Fresno. Shout out to Walk-On Redshirts' finest, Lance Leipold. So, yeah, my spiciest take is Kansas 10 wins.
Let's jump over. We have to pick our games for this weekend. Last year, you won.
Jake, I'm not going to have any credibility after this week, by the way.
No, you're not.
That's okay, though.
Are we going to make the same bet that we had the last 2 years? We put in a
Absolutely.
6-pack of beer on it.
The beer bet. Let's go. Beer bet.
Yeah, back on the beer bet, back on the 6-pack. I think I sent you something last year. I'm pretty sure
you did. From
keep
going. I'll remember.
Land Grant Brewery.
No, they sponsored a couple of our episodes, actually.
I don't remember, but sure. Sorry for whoever sponsored us. Anyways, let's see who can get off to a hotter start here. First game of the week. Well, actually, it's not first game. First game we're picking. Stanford versus Hawaii. Hawaii is a 2.5-point favorite. Who are you taking?
God, this is so you start with the most difficult one. Somewhere in particular. Sip Brewing.
Sounds right. Yep.
I've got Hawaii winning this one. I've got the Rainbow Warriors coming away with the upset. The game is in Hawaii. They just made a big investment in their stadium. They've got a little bit of hype around them. I think they're going to have a decent passing attack this year. All of my analysis that I have for my article tomorrow will be in the article tomorrow, but it's not in my brain right now. The ironclad lock chamber that I told you about 5 minutes ago is not really that. I lied, maybe a little bit. But Stanford has no identity. They have lost their head coach. They got Frank Reich, who is an interim head coach and is there to be replaced. And I think that's just going to hurt them. Do they rally around Frank Reich and he ends up falling in love with it and we have a Disney movie about this in 5 years? Possibly. But I think the Rainbow Warriors pull this one off.
Yeah, I have Hawaii here. Same reason as you. Frank Reich, first game. There's a lot of guys that transferred out. I don't think Stanford's going to be very good this year. It would not shock me if they go 0-12 this year. I think it's a pretty bad situation just with everything going on. I got Hawaii winning this game. Hawaii last year, they were 5-7, but they got pretty close to a bowl game. You know, they lost by 3 to UCLA, lost by 3 to San Diego State, lost by 2 to UNLV. They were competitive in a lot of these games. They did get blown out a couple times, but I think they can get started on the right foot this year. Give me Timmy Chang and the Rainbow Warriors. Second game here, we got Sam Houston State versus Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is a 10.5-point favorite.
I got Western Kentucky winning this one, and I have them covering. Sam Houston has one of the worst defenses, or is bringing back one of the worst defenses in the country from last year. And Western Kentucky has a lot of hype around their offense this year. with quarterback McIver, which is one of the greatest names, Maverick McIver. So I really think that this Western Kentucky team is going to be a very fun team to watch on Saturdays, and hopefully when Conference USA Wednesdays and Tuesdays come on, that we get to enjoy that as well. So Maverick McIver and the boys, I have them beating and covering against Sam Houston. Oh wait, are we doing straight up, or are we doing against the spread?
Against the spreads, 10.5 points.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I've got them covering the spread.
Maverick McIver is coming from, I believe it's Abilene Christian. He transferred up
and Texas Tech.
And Western Kentucky is familiar with doing this. Bailey Zappi came from a FCS program and then threw for 60 touchdowns. I think Maverick McIver will translate just fine. Sam Houston State lost their coach. Casey Keeler went to Temple. Shout out Temple. Temple Talk.
Temple Talk.
Their running back, Jay Ducker, went with him. I think that this Western Kentucky team is going to blow them out. In my squad blitz team for my weekly contest, I have the Western Kentucky passing offense because this feels like a lock. This is my anchor pick that I picked everything around taking the Western Kentucky passing offense.
Jake, listen to this. I think Western Kentucky might have the best quarterback name room in the country. Maverick McIver, Caleb McMickle, Tucker Parks, Rodney Tisdale Jr., and Owen Loy. And shout out to whoever's doing their color commentary and play-by-play stuff. Listen to this defensive lineup. Jake, you ready? Jaden Gray, Jaden Hardy.
I just pulled this up.
Yeah. Jalen Wester, Jalen Emery, Jalen Lewis.
Jalen, Jakeem, Jaden.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck doing play-by-play for that defense.
They also have a Josiah, a Javon.
They love their J's. What can
There's so many guys that have the first name. There's a guy named Jay, J-A-I, J. Eugene Jr.
And naturally, the kicker's name is John. Way to go to ruin that. We had a nice little J going there. Justin Wolf as a tight end.
Oh, my goodness.
Machiavelli
must really like guys with the first name that starts with J.
If your name is Jaden or Jalen, you will be playing at Western Kentucky.
Absolutely. You better learn Bowling Green, Kentucky, buddy. All right. Kansas is a 12.5 point favorite against Fresno State at home. Matt Ennis, who was the defensive coordinator something defensive at USC. Prior to that, he was the head coach at North Dakota State. Takes over at Fresno State. Obviously, friend of the show, Lance Leipold, head coach at Kansas. Fresno State or Kansas?
I got Kansas winning, Kansas covering. Like I said, Jalen Daniels, Daniel Highshaw, and LaShawn Williams leading that rushing attack for the Jayhawks offense is going to be phenomenal. Kansas is returning 4 out of 5 offensive linemen, and they got a transfer coming in and Enrique Cruz. But the tight end that I'm really excited about is Deshaun Hanukkah. Had to leave for some behavioral issues, some disciplinary issues over Iowa State, but a very, very talented tight end that would work perfectly in this offense. I cannot wait to see it go and move. And I think this Kansas defense is going to be vastly improved from a middle of the road defense last year. So give me Kansas. Give me Kansas. Hey, you know how you win 10 games, Jake? You got to win the first one.
Got to win the first one.
Yeah, win the first one.
I'm taking Kansas here as well, although I think this game could be a little close heading into halftime. It wouldn't shock me if we're sitting at, 7 points, 10 points. I think this game is going to be fairly close early. I think Kansas pulls away late. I think Kansas is just going to be too good to give Fresno really a chance to stick around in this game. Fresno, I just don't think that they're going to have the talent and ability to stick around, and especially to contain a guy like Jalen Daniels.
Right.
Final game here. We have a top 25 matchup here. Iowa State and Kansas State in Farmageddon in Dublin, Ireland, because, of course, send the two people that, love corn over to where only potatoes grow.
Unless there's a famine.
unless there's a famine. Kansas State is a 3.5-point favorite. Do you like Cyclones? You like the Wildcats?
So, no spoilers, but my article's coming out tomorrow. I'm a Wildcat this weekend over in Dublin. And the reason for that would have to be Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards. So, like I said earlier, what travels? Running the football on defense. Iowa State is replacing a lot, especially in the receiving core, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Another Jaden and Jalen combo. But Rocco Becht is still there. I like that. Abu Sama's there. Caden, what's the running back's name? Caden, I'll get back to that. I feel like if both teams are running the football a lot in this game, Kansas is better at that, or Kansas State is better at that with Dylan Edwards and Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson is a run-first quarterback who can sling it, don't get me wrong, but is a very hard-nosed, tough running quarterback. And we all seen Dylan Edwards make plays for Colorado. Very, very talented running back. Made some plays for Kansas State last year. So I'm really liking that roster that Kansas State has, and I think they're built better overall than Iowa State is. But man, I think that's going to be one of the most fun games of the weekend. So I got Kansas State winning and covering.
Well, I would hope the top 25 matchup is one of the most fun games of the 5 games from the weekend.
It's Monday for me, Jake. Come on. Carson Hansen, by the way, is the running back for Iowa State. I couldn't think of. Sorry.
I'm taking Kansas State as well. I have concerns about the wide receiver room for Iowa State losing Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. Rocco Becht, obviously, still a very good quarterback, but I think Avery Johnson takes a step this year, and I think the rushing attack is going to be the key there for Kansas State. I think this is a really close game. It would not shock me if this comes down to the final possession, but I like the 3.5 points for Kansas State. I think they do pull this out. I think they win by about a touchdown. I would not be shocked if Iowa State covers this, but I'm taking Kansas State to win.
So no one will have a lead after this week.
We will be tied. We both might be 0-4 though. It would not shock me if we both start 0-4.
We'll both be 4-0. Let's be real.
Then we're both going to be 4-0. Well, that does it for our college football playoff preview and week 0 preview. Next week, we've got a massive slate of games. But
don't look too far forward. Enjoy this weekend. Be where your feet are. Be playing. Enjoy week 0. Yes, week 1 is going to be phenomenal, but by God, don't you miss Farmageddon in Dublin, Ireland. You better not freaking do it. Nothing says American freaking farming football like Dublin, Ireland. So you better be watching the freaking game.
Do not miss it. Park in front of your couch, grab a cold one, enjoy some snacks, pizza, wings, whatever, barbecue, whatever you're doing.
A Guinness. Let's celebrate being in Ireland. Let's have a Guinness, have some bangers and mash. Come on, fellas. Shepherd's pie. Nothing says shepherd's pie like 95 degrees in South Carolina on college football kickoff.
Nothing says college football like enjoying a Guinness in 90-degree weather.
Guinness is good in all weather.
I'm okay.
But you're right. It is better in the cold.
It's way better in the cold. Way better in the cold. With that being said, make sure to go follow us on social media at Walk-On Redshirts, at the Walk-On Redshirts on Instagram. Go find us on Twitter. Check out the walkonredshirts.com. Tons of content coming out here over the next week or so. Go check out Squad Blitz. Get your picks in here before the weekend. And rate the podcast. Leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. If you're watching on YouTube, we've got plenty of these stickers. They say certified Walk-On Redshirts, 5-star listener. Go give us a listen. Send us a screenshot that you rated the podcast. You do. I'll send these out. You don't get charged. I'm just going to mail these out to you. Would love to send out a bunch of these stickers here the next week or so. Tell your friends about us. Make sure to leave and rate the podcast. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. We may listen, we may not. But with that being said, enjoy the first weekend of college football.
Let's go. That sounds great, Jake. I love to hear that. Let's go.